Good everyone, my name is Graphics. Today we'll be drawing this diagram that is displayed in the top right corner of your screen, which we are told that in the figure, the crank AB rotates clockwise about A and the crank CD rotates anti-clockwise about C. The crank are joined by the link BDF. Plot to a scale of 1 millimeter to 1 centimeter the loci of point E and F for one revolution of AB. AB and DC are 45 centimeter. BD is 120 centimeter. And BE and DF are 30 millimeter, right? So we're told to redraw, and this problem is based in technical drawing, specifically link mechanism, and this is one of the loci problem we have there. So for we to replicate this diagram, the first thing we need to draw is the crank, right? Now let me give us a clearer view. This is what we are replicating, right? So you see that this is first crank, this is the second crank. So AB and CD both are crank, right? While BEF is what? Is the crank, the rod, the link joining both of them, right? Can call it more like a connecting rod. So this is the link that is joining both of them. So if you look at this, we're told that this crank AB revolves in a clockwise manner like this, while the crank CD revolve in an anti-clockwise manner, and it is denoted using this sign here, this symbol here, going backward, the arrow. Now, we are told to draw the loci of point E and point F. So the first thing you do here is to draw the two crank first. That is crank AB and crank CD. And we are told that crank AB and crank CD are 45 millimeter. And the most important thing is that what? They are 120 millimeter apart. So from the center A to center C is 120. So let's start. So the first thing I'll first of all draw is the horizontal line. So I'll draw the horizontal line first, which is giving us this. So I have this here, the long, the short. This is the first thing I will draw first. Having drawn that, I'll pick a point. Let's see, I'm picking point what? Point E. And we're told that, if you look at the diagram very well, I picked point A and we're told from A to C is 120. So I'm going to measure 120. Now with the help of my meter rule, I'm going to place it at A, 0 at A, and I'm moving to 12. That is 120 millimeter. We just see it is saying 12 centimeter. That will be my point what? Point C. So at those 2 points, I'm going to draw my vertical line that will cut across them. So if I come here, I'm going to draw center line again. Now come to C also. I'm going to draw the center line again. You can see that. So I have successfully gotten the center of A and C. Look at it very well. Center of what? A and C. Now the next thing is to draw the crank, and we're told that AB is equals to CD, which is what? 45, right? So we'll draw our 45. So I'm going to take my compass and draw. So with the help of my meter rule, I'll place it at 0. Now I'll take it to 45 here and put it at point A, right? Then I'm going to draw this way, or taking it. That's the first one. And I'll come to point C. I'll do the same thing. And that is the second one. I'm taking them. Now the next thing is I'm going to divide two of the circles into 12. So I can either use my compass or my set square. But for the benefit of knowledge, I'll use my compass for the first circle and I'll use my set square for the second circle. So you can know the two process. Now if I place it, the first method is to use my compass. I'll take the radius of the circle, which is 45, right? And I am going to mark top here. I'll come here also, I'll mark top here. You can see that. Then I'm going to take it to the top part here. Then I'm going to mark left and right. So I'll take my meter rule and connect them to pass through the center. So the first one is this. We'll pass through the center. You can see that. Use my faint line to connect. Second one to pass through the center. I use my faint line to connect. The third one too, passing through the center. I use to connect to this also, passing to the center. I use to connect to. Now if you notice, I allowed everything to pass through the center to touch the other side of the circumference. Now I'm going to do this the same thing. I can also use my compass to do it here, but for the benefit of knowledge, I'll be using my set square, right? So once I place my set square here, I'll move it to this point, to the center. You can see that using the 60-degree side, and I'll draw, right? I'm going to turn it to face the left also like this. Now move it toward the center also. Then I'm going to draw. Right, after doing that, I'll sit it down this way using the 30-degree side here to draw. So ensure that it is tangential to the square. So place it here and I'll draw. Then I'll turn it the other way around also. I'll place it here and I'll also draw. Now this is it to help. You can see, so there are the two methods that we can use to divide a line into 12. Now if you go back to our diagram here, you'll discover that our link is connected to one of those division line, right? So we call it A and B, and it's closer to the vertical line here. So that means if here, this point here is this point here, automatically this point here will be this point here. So I'm going to tick in that point and I'm going to call it point B. So this is my what? My point B. Why this is what? A, like I said earlier. right? Now if you look at here also, this is another division. This point here is this point here, right? Then D is closer to this point, so it means that here we come to this point. So I'm going to connect this point to this point to make sure that this is my D. Right? So this will be what? My point D. And this will know right from time is my what? Point C. Can you see that? So we're told that B and D is connected. So I'm going to connect B and D with my meter rule. Now also we connected it, right? Now if you notice it, we're also told that D is extended, so we'll call it DF. And the DF is given to be 30. If you look at it on here, it's given to be what? 30 millimeter. So we extend it by 30. Also extend E from B by what? By 30. If I do that, first of all, let me extend this by 30. So this is where 7 is my point D. That will be 0. This will be 10, 20, 30. So I'm going to connect it to this point. Right? I'm going to call it point F. Also increase this to 30 also, starting from 0. From 0 to 3 is 30. And that will give us our point E. So these are those points that we want to look for their locus, right? So point E and F. So this is, we've successfully replicated this diagram here, right? Now is to repeat the same process for every point. Since we are told that this crank here rotates, in a clockwise manner, right? So it means this is B, here will be B1, here will be B2, here will be B3, B4, B5, B6, B7, B8, B9, B10, and B11, right? Similarly, we are told that this rotates in an anti-clockwise manner. So this is going in this direction, anti-clockwise manner. So if it's going anti-clockwise manner, so it means that this is D, this will be what? D1, this will be D2, this will be D3, D4, D5, D6, D7, D8, D9, D10, D11. So we are going to replicate all this in every point. What we did between B, D, F on points B and D, we're going to do it for every point. So since I connected B to D, automatically I am going to connect B1 to D1. B1 to D1. So I might just do it this way. B1 to what? To D1. You can see that. B1 to what? To D1. With your faint line. And extend it by 30. This is 0, 10, 20, 30. So this will be what? F1. Right? So this is F, here will be F1. Normally if I measure 30 from here, This will be F2. So this point here is F2 altogether. Now I'll replicate it again, connect B2 to D2. So I place it this way. I'll just use it from here to here, B2 to D2, point line. So account is 0, 10, 20, 30. This will be 30. So here will be, sorry, this is E1, right? Then this will be what? E2. Then I will extend this so that I will get my F2. If I come here, this is 10, this is 0, 10, 20, 30. Extend it. Then I'll be having my F2 at this point. Similarly, I'll connect B3 to D3. Right? Let me use a longer rule. So D3 to B3. Right? So we know that from 18 on this line is 0, 10, 20, 30. So let's move this to this point. So it means that this is my F3. If I measure 30 from B3, this will be 0, 10, 20, 30. Then I'm going to get my what? My E3. Then the same thing, I'll connect B4 to what? To D4. So in doing that, I start from 21 here. This is, I've gauged it. I'm moving to this point. This is 21, that will be 0, 10, 20, 30. Right? And from 21 to 24 is 30. Where I'm going to be having my F4. F4, so I'll count from B4, 0, 10, 20, 30. So this will be what? E4. Then I'll connect B5 to D5. Right? So in doing that, we're having something this way. So from 21 to this point here. So from 21, this will be 0, 10, 20, 30. So 24 is 30. Now we'll connect it up to there. And from this point, this will be my F5. Then I'll have this to be 0, 10, 20, 30. This will be my what? My E5. Then the same thing, I'm going to connect B6 to D6. B6 to D6. Right? So I can just see this from here to this point. So from 18 to 17 is 10, 20, 30. Right? So we have this. So from 16 is 0, 10, 20, 30. So here will be my what? My F6. That will be my what? My F6. Let's see that. F6. So move forward. Now the next thing, I'll count on the B6 to get my 30. This is 10, 20, 30. That will be my E6. So similarly, I'm going to connect connect B7 to D7. You see that? This is D7 here, B7 to D7. So if I see from 15, which is on D7, 0, 10, 20, 30, right? This is my point 30 here, which will be my F. I'll come here, right? So I'm getting my F7 at this point. Then I'll measure from B7 30 in 0, 10, 20, 30. So this is E7. So the next thing is E8 to D8. Can you see that? So I'm going to from that 13 that is D8. This is 0, 10, 20, 30. Right? This 30 here. We need to connect it to this point. So this will be my F8. And then I will now measure 30 from B8. So this is from 1 is 0, 10, 20, 30. So this will be my what? My E8. The next one from B9 to D9. So connect it. So let's go from here to that point. So from 13, I'm going to measure 10, 20, 30. That'll be my F9. Then from here also, I'll measure 30, 10, 20, 30. To be my E9. Then F9. Now, I'll do the same thing, D10 to B10. D10 to B10. I'll connect it. Right? So this is what we have here. This 10, 20, 30. Right? So from 2 on here also, 0, 10, 20, 30. So I'll call it my E10. This is my F10. Then D11 to B11. See that? If I join them, I'll start my this 16, 0, 16. I'll call it 0, 10, 20, 30. Then move here. I'll measure 30 here from 3. This is 0, 10, 20, 30. So this point will be my E11. This is my what? My F11. All good. So I have successfully drawn all the points. Now it's for me to connect all the points. So in connect all the points, I'll start with this. Connect all the F first with your French curve. So if I start from here, I want to connect at least your whole 3 points together. So if I hold F6, F5 and F4 together, I'll be having this first. Then if I connect F6, F7 and F8 together, can see that? Now the next one, if I connect F8, F9 and F10 together, let me just say F9 and F8, then connect F9 and F10. Then I'll go to F10 and F11, back to F, to F10 and F11, will give me this, then back to F, Then F and F1. Then F1 and F2. Then F3, F2. Then F4 and F3. So this is what we have here. That is the locus of that point. Now connect for E. Connecting for E, can decide to take E6, E5 and E4 together. Then I can take these two. Then I can take this. Okay. At this point. That is the locus of this point there. So successfully connect the locus of this point. So this is the locus. Locus of E and the locus of what? Of F. So if you find this video helpful, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.